I'm sure that most of you who have been following this van project remember what a hair-pulling nightmare I had with this thing last year, trying to get this swamp cooler idea functional. The concept is really simple, and the original video that I took the idea from, the main idea, was very simple. And I tried to build it. The problem was the guts. Everything I tried, the original materials were way too flimsy, and if you dump a bag of ice on it, heavy bag of ice on it, was just going to shred. It was no good at all. Even trying to pull it through the hole here for the exit kept ripping and ripping to shreds. So that didn't work. And I spent a year contacting different manufacturers about all kinds of different products. Either they didn't flex enough, because I added this to my design. I wanted to keep the air circulating inside it longer than just a straight shot through. I wanted to keep it trapped in there, moving over the ice where it would be colder before it came out the exit, which was an idea that I got from another video. But either the materials that I found either would not flex, would crack under ice, were not watertight, or were not sturdy enough to hold up to the ice and wouldn't last any amount of time. So they originally went with a 3-inch ducting. This is a 4-inch ducting. This is a product called Dryer Flex, and it's really very sturdy, so I'm hoping it'll work. Their commercial shows them dropping like a 64 load jug of detergent on it without damaging it. Of course, the more you extend it, the weaker it gets. So this is a kind of a medium sturdiness I've got here. This is 8-foot section. So I went from the 4-inch blower. Instead of going to a 3-inch duct, I kept 4-inch ducting. The exit is still a 2-inch pipe, but because I'm going from a 4-inch duct, I had to add 2 more couplers, which means every time you join something, you've got a potential for leak. So all this is caulked between this rubber piece, the exit here, the pipe, and the conduit here. Same thing here, outside here, taped together here. So it is now time for the moment of truth. We're going to put the hose in it and test it for water tightness. So you may, we may have to cut the video for screaming, swearing, cursing, no telling what, maybe cheering. We're going to find out. Tried to make sure that there was no water on the carport out here, a little patio area, before we started. So if anything leaks, we should be able to see it. But I don't really expect any leaks until it gets up to these exit joints. The problem with the other stuff I had used is it had leaks between the joints. It was jointed material. It had little elbows that swiveled, and it was leaking out of each one of those. So I'm going to let it fill up, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, we've got a little bit of leaking under here. We'll have to recaulk that. Oh, it looks like it's coming out of the pipe. Maybe not. I think it's running down the pipe. I think it's coming out of the caulked area under there. Alright, so there's the first leak. Okay. Before I start tearing up the new one over there, I want to look at some of the design flaws on the old one, in case I ever have to build another one, which I pray to God I never have to build another one of these things. Alright, one thing, the ice is, going to be on up in here, but when it melts, the water level probably won't be much past here. So here's one of the flaws. The entrance ducting is down toward the bottom, so the water is going to get up here, which means this is a very weak leak-proof joint right here, and this is wiggly, so it's very hard to seal. Not only that, but on the inside, it's impossible to get my fingers down under here. Oh, I can't see. To get the caulk in there. I can't get the caulk in there. I can't reach up under there. So this part of the unit needs to come way up here, as high up as I can get it. The other thing is, same thing with this. This needs to be as far away from the water as it can be, up here somewhere. This one's not really that much of a problem though, because in here it's high enough that I can reach under it and caulk it real well. Another problem, the fan was going this way, which means it's drawing air in on the right side there. You see that the exit pipe is blowing out the cold air, is getting sucked right back in the entrance pipe over here. So really this needs to be going in the opposite direction, so that it's sucking the air, hot air in from the left, blowing it into the unit, and then coming out cold over here. The caulk that I use is not meant for prolonged exposure underwater. So that's another reason I need this to be up out of the water for the most part. Ice I think will be okay because it'll just keep melting down lower and lower and get off of it. So that's what I'm going to try to correct today with the new one. The hardest part, this should be easy enough to get out. This right here is so caulked in, it's going to be difficult. And then we've got to take this off from the pipe, because this has got to come through the hole before this is attached to attach the blower. So that's going to be the hardest part of the new one. The drilling and everything shouldn't take but a matter of minutes, and I hope they're the same height. They're 48 quart both. Well, I had to make a couple of adjustments. For some reason this hole was a little bit bigger around than I thought. I thought I had it cut right on the inside of the line so it would be snug, but it wasn't, so I had to add tape to thicken that up before I caulked it. But other than that, it looks pretty good. This is that silicone self-adhesive tape to seal some of these little spots, just to be sure. This actually is not for caulking, it's to join a pipe that's under here to the one that's coming out here. And I put my handle back on, so that works good. Doesn't get in the way. All I gotta do now is replace the little thing that it's like a little elbow that sticks off the end of here, so you can angle the air the way you want it to go. So it's all caulked up, and me and Pip are going to go to the park. And I'll either test it this evening or probably tomorrow, just to be safe. Put some water in it and see what happens. Okay, it's Saturday. I don't know, 6 months to a year from the time I first started trying to do this thing. This is the new version. I'm gonna fill it. Let's see if we get any leaks. Even if it does leak, when it gets up to these points, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I will re-caulk it a little bit. But I'll let it fill up and see what we get. Dun dun, dun dun, dun 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 dun. There's no way that even 2 or 3 bags of ice would ever make this much water in there, even completely melted. That's why I'm not worried about whether it leaks, but I still would like it not to, because if I go down a steep hill or I hit a bump and everything goes flying around back there in the back of the van, this is going to be sitting on carpet. It would be nice if it didn't make water go everywhere. We're getting up to the line now. Yikes. I think I see a little leak right there. Just a little bit. A little smidgen of caulk will fix that. let it sit out here for a while after I fill it up. There's no way it should go any higher than that. Getting ready to cut it off. There's a slight little trickle coming from right under there at the bottom of this joint. A little tiny bit of water. Which in the real world usage of this thing will not happen because there won't be any water up that high. This side over here is nice, solid. Okay, I will say that is success. A little smidgen of caulk and we'll be done. Only other thing I really want to do is plug it in for a day and make sure that the fuse inside this, which I think is a 5, it may be a 10, that it doesn't overload and blow the plug out after a day's use, getting too much charge from the solar panel. This happened on the refrigerator, even though it had the original plug that came with it. I don't think it'll be a problem, and if it is, that's easy enough to replace. So we're calling it success for today. I also need to add that I did check inside the fan and inside the blower pipe to make sure that the guts, the dryer flex, was not letting water in through the foil and getting inside the interior. That would be really bad, but it's really dry, so that's great. I'm sure once it gets ice and cold and everything, we may get a little condensation in there, but it's not a leak from the conduit, so that is excellent. And that was the main thing that was the big hold up all along. So yay!